Consciousness. It's the most personal, familiar thing to all of us. Our thoughts, feelings, awareness of the world. But what is it really? Why can I think, feel, and experience the world while something like a rock or a cup of coffee can't? Or can they? Most scientists today say consciousness comes entirely from our brain, but what if that's not the whole story? What if consciousness isn't just something our brains produce, but something that's a fundamental part of the universe, just like light, gravity, or time? It sounds wild, I know, but this idea could change how we think about science, religion, and even the meaning of life itself. Let me explain. Let's start with what consciousness is. It's your inner world, the thoughts you think, the emotions you feel, your awareness of the world around you. Most scientists believe that this awareness comes from your brain. Your brain processes everything you sense, like sights, sounds, and smells, and somehow creates your experience of being alive. But there's a big mystery here. Even though we know a lot about how the brain works, we still have no idea why it creates this feeling of being alive. How do a bunch of neurons firing in your head turn into thoughts, feelings, and experiences? This question is so tough that scientists call it the hard problem of consciousness. And honestly, we don't really have an answer. What if we're thinking about this all wrong? What if consciousness isn't something that's created by the brain at all? What if it's something that's built into the fabric of the universe like energy or gravity? Think about it like this. You know how radio waves are all around us, but you need a radio to pick them up? Your brain could be like that radio, tuning into a universal field of consciousness that's everywhere. This idea flips everything we think we know on its head. It means consciousness might not be limited to living things like humans or animals. It could be something that exists in some small way in everything, from atoms to galaxies. That might sound like science fiction, but stick with me. So why would anyone believe this? There are a few clues that make this idea worth considering. First, there's the hard problem I mentioned earlier. If we can't explain how consciousness comes from the brain, maybe it's because it doesn't. Maybe the brain is just a tool for focusing something that's already there. Second, quantum physics gives us a reason to consider this. At the smallest levels of the universe, particles act weird. They seem to change their behavior when they're being observed, as if the act of observation, the presence of consciousness, affects them. This has led some scientists to wonder if consciousness plays a role in how the universe works. And finally, there's something people have been saying for thousands of years. In deep meditation, or during spiritual experiences, or even on psychedelics, people often report feeling connected to everything, like their mind isn't just in their head, but is part of something bigger. Maybe these experiences are hinting at a universal consciousness that we typically can't sense. If this idea is true, it changes everything. First, it changes how we see ourselves. Instead of just being biological machines, humans would be a part of something much bigger, a conscious universe. This could give new meaning to our existence, not as random accidents, but as some part of a universal system. Second, it could change how we see other forms of life, or even non-living things. If consciousness exists everywhere in some form, then animals, plants, and even ecosystems might have their own kind of awareness. That makes us think differently about how we treat the world around us. And third, it could connect science and spirituality in ways we never imagined. For centuries, science and religion have been at odds with each other, with one focusing on facts and the other on faith. But this idea could bring them together. It suggests that things like meditation, intuition, or feelings of connection aren't just spiritual fluff. They might be real ways of interacting with the deeper universe. Even if this idea is right, there's still one big question. If consciousness is fundamental, where does it come from? Why does the universe have consciousness at all? This question might be like asking why gravity exists. It just does. But the more we study it, the closer we get to understanding the universe itself. And who knows, maybe this line of thinking will eventually give us answers to some of life's biggest mysteries. Why are we here? What's our purpose? And what happens to our consciousness after we die? So where does this leave us? The idea that consciousness is universal might sound far out, but it's not just a spiritual idea anymore. Science is starting to explore it, from quantum physics to neuroscience. And if it's true, it could open up entirely new ways of understanding who we are and why we're here. Whether you believe this or not, it's a fascinating possibility, one that bridges the gap between science and spirituality and challenges us to see the universe and ourselves in a whole new way. Thank you for watching, and let me know in the comments, what do you think about this idea? Could consciousness really be a universal force, or is it just something that happens in our brain? Let's talk about it. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.